It's the Nice Guys podcast. Coming back at you this week. We're back. Football is back. We're transitioning back sort of into football. Noah, I'm getting very excited for football. Basketball is still around. We're going to talk some basketball today. We're going to continue to talk a little fantasy. I know some people out there haven't drafted yet. We have. We've got our squads. We've got our team set and ready to go. Uh, and also, real football is kicking off soon. On top of all of that, we're also going to introduce a new little bit towards the end, and Noah's got a fun fact. So that's what we are doing today. Noah, how should we get this thing going? What are we talking about?
Just so everybody knows, this is basically a live post-game reaction.
We have breaking news.
We have breaking news. I mean, you guys, we're not going to break the news to you, but it's breaking news to us.
It's breaking news.
We're not a breaking news podcast, but we're breaking news right now. The Heat just went 3-0 up on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Shocking.
Shocking, to say the least. But since the whole bubble started, I can't say I didn't expect it.
Come on.
No, but Heat was one of the teams. I said, whoever wins, as the joke, whoever wins the Celtics-Sixers thing, but I said I could see the Heat coming out. And honestly, like, the Heat, I hate Jimmy Butler, like, realistically.
Fair.
But Bam Adebayo, the whole team works well together. They're behind a great coach. I mean, they're just working together, and they're honestly exposing Giannis. Imagine how they're about to fucking drop the MVP votes. I have a feeling. I just thought of this. Had a feeling. They're going to drop the MVP before the next game and say it was Giannis, so it's not as embarrassing after he gets fucking 4-0 swept in the fucking semis.
Trying to throw him a bone to make the guy feel a little bit.
Bro, how cringe is that? that your league MVP is about to get 4-0'd.
That's the NBA posting cringe on the timeline, bro.
Oh my God, 4-0.
But how can they? You think that? I mean, how are they going to give it to him now? Why? I don't understand the logic behind that. Actually,
So annoying. There's so many better options for MVP. It's not Giannis. It shows how good that when the team is playing bad, like Giannis tonight, 7 for 21 from the field. He got 7 points from the free throw line. He shot 7 for 12. I mean, that's decent. 0 for 7 from 3-point line. 0 for 7.
He was settling for way too many threes. That was.
I just said this in one of my group messages. People hate on Ben Simmons. I know it all comes back to the Sixers. People hate on Ben Simmons though, and they're like, "Oh, he can't shoot threes. Oh, so he's not as good as Giannis." Ben Simmons knows he can't shoot threes. I'd much rather have a guy who knows he can't fucking shoot threes and doesn't fucking shoot threes than a guy who pretends he can shoot fucking threes and he can't fucking shoot threes in the most important game of his life.
So what you're saying is right now, Ben Simmons better than Giannis?
I've been saying this.
Really?
Been saying this. No cap. I just now started saying that word.
You started out with some cap, and
capping today.
Cap has made a good comeback. No, I like the term. I like the term cap. So yeah, Heat are through. Other side of the bracket, or the lower side of the bracket, still in the East. Might have looked like there for a second that the Celtics were going to go the way of the Heat and go up 3-0 on the Raptors. But miraculously, the Raptors have saved themselves, and I still like the Raptors after what happened.
OG Onzgazubis.
The OG. That's a great name.
Dude, it's kind of sick because didn't they go down 2-0 last year as well? I think they went down 2-0 in the playoffs at some point.
I'll take your word for it.
I think they did.
Yeah, let's just.
It's kind of, and they ended up winning.
Don't look that up. Let's just run with that.
Yeah, we'll run with that. Actually, I think they were.
Yeah, so this actually reminds me of last year when the Raptors were down 2-0 in the playoffs and ended up winning the NBA title. So uh, I do. I still like the Raptors. I don't know what the Celtics are going to do with them now. They really needed that one.
The game going on right now is the Rockets Lakers,
Oh,
and it's their first game.
more breaking news.
No, it's like tied up in the first quarter. We're not really breaking that.
That's breaking. That's breaking news.
Oh, we are breaking that. We're breaking that news.
Tied up. We'll,
Tied
we'll,
up.
we'll do breaking news updates of the Lakers Rockets.
Tied up.
Nice guys. Nice guys.
That's
Uh,
breaking news, guys.
all right. Yeah. Clippers made work of the Nuggets. Nuggets are done.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see them.
No.
Yeah.
No. I would have rather seen the Jazz. I don't know. It wouldn't have made a difference, but I would have rather seen the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell was a lot of fun, and I wish that he was still playing.
So basically, there's 6 teams left in the playoffs.
That's a good way to put it.
There is the Celtics, Raptors. There's the Heat. I mean, because nobody's coming back from that 3-0.
Right.
And then Lakers, Rockets, and then the Clippers. No, but I could potentially see a world in the low percentage chance that the Rockets can beat the Lakers.
I mean,
But
that would be amazing.
that would be sick. But I don't think I want to see Russell Westbrook win.
What's your beef with Russell Westbrook?
I think he's kind of cringe. That's just about it. I think he's kind of cringe.
No mistake. No cap. He's cringe.
No crap. Cringy ass. Yeah, I don't know. I just I don't know if I'm a big fan.
No, I'm a fan of Russell Westbrook because his play style is so insane and ridiculous and sort of almost hurts his team, even though he's so good.
Yes, he
that's
does.
I think this is two sides of the same coin or same sword or whatever it is that you hate him for that. I like him for that. I think it's funny. He's a good bit.
He's like nah. Nobody's gonna get that joke. Never mind.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So NBA.
It's wrapping up. It's wrapping up. There's not a few games.
There's yeah. You okay?
Yeah, there's something in here. It's like buzzing in my ear.
Yeah. All right. So that pretty much does it for the NBA, I guess. Anything else you want to say?
I mean, besides the fact that Giannis sucks ass, I mean, there's not much I have to say about that.
I will give it to you. Yeah, you did kind of call that.
Giannis, I don't like him. He's not good. He's good. Obviously, he's fucking good. Anybody that's can,
Yeah, I'd like to see you take him one-on-one.
They're like, Dowd be like, I bet you can't beat Giannis in a fight. Yeah, no shit, motherfucker. I can't.
But yeah, I mean, is he going to stay in Milwaukee? We weren't planning on.
It's going to be so funny because if he does, he's just going to prove to everybody that he can't fucking do it, and he sucks. LeBron James won. People were like, "Oh, Giannis is already in the top 20 all time." You know what's funny is LeBron James had that shitty ass Cavaliers team and won so many fucking times with that team, and even whenever he came back to the Cavaliers and that team was a bit shit, and he dominated because he could win. And you could say the same with a couple other players, playing right now too, that have shitty ass teams and have proved that they can, at least pull it together. Yeah. Giannis at least has some comprehensive team that can play basketball. People know how to play basketball on that team, and he still can't fucking do it. They're like, oh, he needs a star. Fuck you. If you say Giannis is as good as he is, he doesn't fucking need that. Luka Doncic has proven that. I'm just saying. Luka's better than Giannis.
Giannis to Dallas.
I fucking hope not. That would suck. I actually like that team.
Yeah. No, they're good. So moving on. Football is fucking back.
And it's not wrapping up.
And yeah, the opposite. So football is the opposite of the NBA right now. The NBA is wrapping up. The NFL is wrapping on.
Wrapping down.
They're wrapping it down so they
They're
can.
wrapping it down.
Uh, First NFL game of the year coming up. Texans Chiefs on Thursday. No fans. Empty Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City, Missouri. What are we talking here, Noah? This is
Uh,
exciting.
I mean, I think we know. I mean, everybody's excited for it coming back. I mean, everybody should be watching this game. I'll probably have work. You know, it's exciting, but I think we all know who's going to win this game,
Chiefs.
and it's going to be the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are entering at the line might have changed since I wrote this down because it changes every day. It feels like the Chiefs are 9.5 favorites
Really?
versus the Texans, and honestly, I think it should be a lot more than that.
You think so?
The Texans have lost their best wide receiver and Watson's number one weapon. They brought in Cooks to replace him, Brandon Cooks, which is hilarious. And they now have David Johnson as their go-to guy in the backfield.
You liked David Johnson last year.
I like David Johnson because he got me fantasy points. And Kyler Murray, he got you fantasy points for the running backs because he likes to throw out of the backfield. That's how David Johnson got all those points. That's like the Sproles cheat code. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think Cooks is a good enough addition. And then you have Will Fuller, who is so overrated. So,
No good.
I mean, I don't really see it. I mean, do you have it going any other way?
I don't know if I mean, would you say 9.5?
Yeah.
That's a big line in the NFL. I don't.
All it is okay. So think about it this way: it's basically like, do you think they'll win by more than a touchdown? Yes. There it is. That's all you have to think about.
I mean,
there's no way they don't end up. Mahomes will easily throw for 400 yards in this game.
I still until Deshaun Watson proves me wrong, I'm gonna trust him. I think he's still gonna make noise with the people that he's got.
Well, I had two takes to kind of go with that. I think everyone that drafted Deshaun Watson should probably take that back right now.
You take that back.
You take that back. They should take it back.
Right now.
Right now. Take it back. But they need to take it back. They need to grab the receipt and return it to the store before the receipt expires. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. And then, I mean, Mahomes, okay, if you drafted him in the second round like some people I know did, I mean, it probably won't turn out for you as well as, it could have. But I think Mahomes in this game, I mean, he's going to have 40 points, and he might give you the win this week because it's going to be that bad.
Well, actually, I'm going to disagree with you because I'm playing against Patrick Mahomes, but that's another story. I think what you need to take into consideration, though, is that this is now engaged Patrick Mahomes. He got engaged, proposed to his girlfriend since high school or something, and he's going to be getting his nut.
I don't know if he's going to be getting his nut.
I think that's.
But I think he's a guy that kind of might need his nut. You know, need to use his nut. He seems like the guy that uses his nut.
I mean, you could say that the last 2 years, the seasons he's had, he's been using his nut on the field.
I think he might not. Maybe he's not getting any nut anymore because he's married.
No, well, he's not married. He's engaged.
Oh, so he's definitely using his nut.
So I think if
this is going to be his biggest year, then.
I think it could go either way. If Mahomes post engagement, if his numbers start to go down a little bit, if you don't see what you saw last year, when he gets married, you can write him off altogether. It's done. It's over.
I think the question is, if the Tebow rumors are true, who's the no nut quarterbacks versus the nut quarterbacks? And, how does those numbers reflect, week to week standings? I think we need to do a deep dive.
Okay. Well, I think one of the best examples of that is Phil Rivers. Longevity.
That's true.
I mean,
that dude has been. Well, you know what? I actually don't know if this is true. Maybe he just busts once a year and is like, screw it. Like
no,
that's my yearly one.
no, a
He is
guy.
the preseason. He is the preseason nut, and then he's like, time to call it quits.
He's a guy like that. He's been around so long. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing with his nut.
He's definitely not like. Well, then that means there has to be someone else other than his wife, because he's too religious to be like. Never
Well,
mind. We should not go this far.
you never know. Yeah, the NFL sex podcast.
NFL demonetization.
Yeah, this is age-restricted content on YouTube.
Talking about nuts.
Yeah, when we post this one, I might have to set it as 18 years or older because we've been getting a lot.
You know what's funny is because they'll probably think we're talking about squirrels. It could be it.
They could think we're talking about squirrels.
They could think.
People at YouTube that have. Now that I think about it, that is a group of people who does not get their nut. Programmers at YouTube.
Hey, that's true. Hey, YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome that we
I
can.
saw some shit. What did they? There's like 32 years of like hours posted to YouTube per hour.
Wow.
32 years. So I mean, they're never gonna see this. They're never gonna see this.
Well, the algorithm, yeah. Well, when I posted that the video with the Strokes music, they never sued us, even though I specifically asked Julian Casablancas to sue me in the video. So there's no chance.
He's just a pussy. He's just a pussy.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, off the rails right there. Off the rails. Who do you think? Who do you have in this game?
Chiefs, of course. It's the question.
Do you have the line?
The question is the spread. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't like to bet those games in the NFL with numbers that high.
Take the line. Take a line before we get off. It's the first game of the season. You have to take the money line and the spread. Who's the spread? Do you take?
Money line Chiefs, no question.
Obviously. So the spread. I'm going money line and then the Chiefs. I think the over is like 52 as well. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the money line, and I'm taking Chiefs beating the spread. 100%.
I like the over. When you see the words Texans Chiefs, you got to take the over. But
maybe
I'll take the Texans line.
I like what you're doing for the podcast, but I really don't like that take.
No, that's not for the podcast. That's a real take. I'll be watching to see. Chiefs money line. Write it down. Chiefs money line. Texans plus 9.5.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that game.
Take the over. Well, I mean, it's the only game, so.
Yeah, true.
So, moving on.
Yes.
As previously mentioned, we had our fantasy draft earlier this week, and we know that you guys listening, exactly what you want to hear about right now is me and Noah's fantasy teams.
This is the perfect thing that you guys want to hear.
That's exactly what everybody wants to hear. Everybody cares.
No, but I think it can relate to everybody. I think.
No, I know. I'm just okay. So we're not just going to talk for the rest of the time about our fantasy teams. We are going to give specific guys that we drafted that we're most excited about, and maybe, hey, if you're out there listening and you have them too, you can get excited with us because you made a good choice.
Yeah, man.
This will be affirmation. Noah, you want to start us off? You are very excited about a couple guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I have 7 guys in my top 40 that I got to draft. Top 40 we talked about last episode. I have 7 of them.
I was about to say
that's the most of any team in the league.
Aside from the tight ends, which refer to Instagram to find out what we're talking about, your algorithm worked out for you pretty well, and you got the guys you needed.
Yeah. So I made that list. I got 7, and then I got 9 of the guys in my top 60. My mental top 60. I had 9 of those guys. I ended up cracking. There was a couple guys at the end of this list. I have my team right here.
Oh,
But
You're about to do what I just made fun of.
no, I'm saying the guys at the bottom of the list that most people. Kyler Murray is in that top 60 vote that wasn't included in the 40, and then somebody a wide receiver that I had. But I'm excited about a lot of guys. Some of the top 40s that most notable, Alvin Kamara. People talk about his contract issues. He had a meeting with coach the other day, and they patched things up, and he went back to practice. I think things will work out for him. He's not a controversial player, so I don't see him doing anything fucked up. Miles Sanders, Eagles' #1 guy, is going to get a lot of touches. He was in the low teens or late first round for me. Mark Andrews, my third favorite tight end this year. He's going to be consistent the whole time, probably more consistent than Kittle and Kelsey. He just probably won't get the big games like they will. Like, he's never going to get 25 plus, but he'll always get above 12.
No, that is a good pickup. Other than, he's tier 2 in the tight ends underneath the god tier of Kittle.
No, I think he's god tier with them. I think they'll all get about within the 10-point range of each other, and then there's Ertz, Waller, and I have them. That's who I was taking in the third round, regardless. So, and then Kenny Galladay. He's a big wide receiver that a lot of people are talking about.
You're just gonna list your team.
Had him last year, but anyways, one of the two guys I'm most excited about. Literally, I'm more excited about these.
So now we get to the guys you're excited about after you.
Yeah. I'm gonna do one, and I'll send it your way, and then you give it back. Okay. The one guy I have that I'm probably most excited about is DJ Chark. Named my fantasy team after him. He's a 6'4", 200-pound guy who ran a 4.340 in his combine. He had a second year last year. He had 1,000 yards and 8 TDs, averaging 13.9 yards per catch. And it's pretty cool is Gardner came out and was like, because he came in late in the season, he was like, I barely got to practice with the guy before I even started. He had no touches with him. He hops in, and Jay Gruden, the new offensive coordinator there, he said that he's the MVP of the team so far in the training. So he's looking like he's 100% the go-to guy on offense, and I think he's easily going to have one of the biggest seasons in the NFL regardless. So he was a huge pickup for me, and he had the stars. He was one of 4 players who had the stars beside him, and had in caps excellent value here. So I had to pick him up.
Okay, that's a big claim. That's a big claim for DJ.
Big claim.
Number 1 guy I'm most excited about. This isn't really exciting because it's sort of no shit. Dalvin Cook.
Of course.
I wanted him all year last year. I was so mad at Christian Price for taking him. He was so consistent. There were only 3 games last year that he did not score a touchdown. It was hard to lose with the guy on your team because he'll give you at minimum like 15 points a week. It's ridiculous what he does. And I didn't really have a guy like that last year. And so I am so excited to just have that bedrock of Dalvin Cook shitting on people, catching some passes, getting involved, making up for Kirk Cousins' shitty ass in the passing game. I'm excited. Hope he stays healthy.
I was about to say, he's the only guy in my commissioner power rankings that I've been doing. He's the only guy that I see, him, even though he's a question mark, he's going to win you so many games. He's like I said, your whole team is full of question marks. This guy, regardless, you have to take him at the position you were in anyways.
Right.
There's nobody else.
Yeah. 5th over
pick,
I think.
So I wouldn't even say that that's an excellent pick there. You had 5. So, he's in the upper echelon of the running backs.
Absolutely. And if you got Dalvin Cook out there, get excited with me, baby. Let me know.
I do. I definitely had Dalvin Cook up there. I had Kamara, obviously. Hey, it'd be like that.
First round, you got to do what you got to do.
You have to do what you have to do. That's how unless you pick Lamar Jackson in the first round.
All right, easy.
You weren't doing what you had to do.
Okay.
my second guy. This is the one I am by far. This is the best pick of my draft, and I'm talking about Titans wide receiver AJ Brown. At 6 foot, 160 pounds, AJ Brown last year, the rookie second round pick. Uh, I have some of the stats right here. He had 1,051 yards and 8 touchdowns, and he averaged 12.5 yards per catch. I mean, that's actually a little bit less than Chark. But, what's cool is Tannehill wasn't the starter when he played, 6 of those games that he had the stats in. Before Tannehill became the starter last year, he averaged 45 yards a game and had 2 touchdowns. And after Tannehill became the starter, he averaged 77 yards and he racked up 6 TDs.
I was about to say he peaked towards the end of the season, so he's about to be on a roll.
Some people have him after the season. I've seen it in a couple places. Have him going to be the best wide receiver in the AFC at the end of this season.
No PJ without the AJ.
Well, I got the DJ, and I got to think of a clever name for both of them because these are guys I'm keeping on my team regardless of what happens this year. AJ Brown, I think he could go crazy. I'm not playing. I think he could go crazy. With a full offseason with Tannehill, I think this guy might be a top 3 wide receiver in the league. And it's nice that I have Galladay, Chark, and AJ Brown. Something, that's worth talking about.
Good wide receiver core to counter my good running back core. May I say myself?
I think my running back core might be a bigger question mark than yours but if mine pans out, huh?
No question.
But if mine ends up panning out like it could, the 50% chance that it does, it will be the best in the league. So.
Okay. Well, Chris Carson has something to say about that, but
he doesn't have anything to say about that.
Okay, Chris Carson and Melvin Gordon will have something to say about that, but that's not who I'm talking about here. That's not who I'm talking about here. My running back core goes deeper than that. Guy I'm most excited for because of his upside and because of the big question mark, but because of what I believe he's going to do in terms of surprising people, J.K. Dobbins. The only rookie I picked up, the only rookie I have a lot of faith in, not projected that much in the first week. We're not playing him. We're sitting him. We're waiting on him. Could be the starter in Baltimore before the season is over, I believe.
It might take a while to get there. This is why I have a question mark under him, too. I think this is an excellent – like, having him on your team right now might not be the biggest asset. But this is also why I gave some person a grade that he deserved. He also drafted Mark Ingram. Knowing that the Ravens drafted J.K. Dobbins, how do you go and draft Mark Ingram, especially knowing how good J.K. Dobbins is and fits that offensive style? Like Mark Ingram, technically, I mean, he doesn't fit it as well as J.K. Dobbins does. And if J.K. Dobbins comes in,
perfect.
It's literally perfect. And he goes along with another rookie running back that I think fits perfectly up in Indianapolis, and it's Jonathan Taylor as well. I think him and Marlon Mack, I think, are in a similar situation as to, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. Jonathan Taylor fits any offense. And then Marlon Mack is going to think he's expecting touches. No, he's not getting them. Jonathan Taylor is going to be in the same level as J.K. Dobbins for me, and it's going to be peak.
He fits in any offense in the NFL, but I like him in Indianapolis even more so.
Oh yeah, that offensive line is gonna do dogs on everybody's team.
It's Big Ten. He went to a Big Ten team in the NFL essentially from a big.
He fits. So.
Right. From Wisconsin to the Colts.
Big fans there.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else that you're lit about?
There's a couple guys. We could, save that we can rain check those guys too. We'll keep an update every week on guys that are performing good and, guys that you guys want to hear about and stuff like that. Maybe some good waiver wire pickups that you guys want to pick up as well. Think about. So,
hey, an original idea for a fantasy football podcast. Start 'em, sit 'em.
Start, start them, sit them. Hey,
Sit 'em.
hey, welcome to the Nice Guys podcast, where we only talk about fantasy football and guys that everybody else is going to pick up before you
Yeah. Start 'em, sit 'em.
do. My team is too good my team is too good, so they're so low on the waiver wire, you'll never get them. Haha.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We gotta come up with a clever name for waiver wire pickup.
Uh,
Start 'em, sit 'em, wave 'em.
that's actually way better than start them, sit them.
Start
You're going to end up waiving them anyways.
'em, sit 'em, wave 'em.
Their big thing is those fantasy football. They go, I'm going to fade that guy.
That's what they say.
I'm going to fade him. I'm going to fade him probably, I'm going to fade him all the way into the 10th round. I might even fade him on the waiver wire or something. I don't fucking know. They're a bunch of idiots.
I like the terminology people get into where they're like,
You know what's funny? It took me one day of research to come up with a whole draft board. It takes them months.
they say, in terms of value, he's RB 36. He's, wide receiver
We're
5.
going to take him at 106.
Yeah, I like those. Well, because it got me thinking. I think that on the Nice Guys podcast, you are PC 2. I'm PC 1. Podcaster 1. Podcaster 2.
I would take that.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was role reversal. I think you've definitely gone into the PC1 range.
PC in terms of it, you're good where you are in terms of value at the PC2.
Oh yeah,
Right. But for
like
right
you can pass up on you right there.
right. For right now I'm PC.
Hearing us.
But you got to think maybe Noah was only picked up to sort of light a fire under Christian so that he starts performing better.
See, now you're just pushing it.
At PC1.
You're pushing it.
I'm Mark Ingram, you're J.K. Dobbins.
I would go more like you're Ronald Jones and I'm Leonard Fournette.
I was about to say, dude, don't say that.
I know. All right. All right, let's move on. We actually have an original bit today.
Yeah.
Something that we can look forward to in the future. And it's something that we also want to get you guys, everybody that's watching, involved or listening.
Yep.
And it's the having a bad bit. It's just guys that are having a bad. They're like having a bad time.
The opposite of having a nice. He's having
they're not having a nice.
So
they could be having a bad life. They could just be having a bad in general.
Bad day, bad week. They're just having a bad.
They could have a bad name.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to make of it. This is your bit. This is our bit. And we're gonna try and do it, as frequently as possible. I'm not gonna say every week or every, 2 weeks. It's just gonna come when it needs to come. And so
about squirrels, yeah.
Exactly. So we're gonna start out, Christian. Besides the Bucks, you can't use the Bucks because that's obviously a cheat code. They are obviously the biggest half of the bad right now. They just got 3-0.
Very bad.
Christian, who's having a bad this week?
One of my having a bads is Jason Tatum.
He is having a bad.
Last night, he is having a bad. Left OG Anunoby open. He figured, when you look at the video, it looks like he figured Fred VanVleet was going to get the ball because that makes sense that he would take the shot.
Exactly.
He leaves Anunoby, leaves him wide open, and now the Raptors are back in the series. Jason Tatum is having a bad. Sorry, Jason.
Sorry, Jason. You deserve it. And let's also point out, Jason Tatum hasn't shot, the greatest field goal percentage during this whole playoffs.
Yeah.
He's been 5 for 18, 7 for 17. He's just yakking up shit. So he's just more than having a bad game yesterday. You could say he's having a bad playoffs.
That's why the bid is fun. It's open ended, like I said.
It's open-ended. It's literally the answer could keep going. He's having a bad game.
There's layers. Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
Am I having a bad? I think the Jaguars are having a bad. They are having the biggest bad right now. I mean, they just let Fournette go, and the worst part is they don't have some guy to just fill in. They have who? They have what's his name? Who's the one? Chris Thompson from Washington. You know, he's there now, and they have this guy named Devine Osgbo or Divine Osgbo.
Never heard of either of those guys.
Chris Thompson is a shitty ass running back, and this other guy, I don't even know how to say his name. He can't be good. You know, if I don't even know how to say your name, you can't be good. That means I don't know you.
Right.
On the other hand, I think maybe a tiny bad, but obviously it's a good. So having a nice. I think the Bucks are kind of having a bad. It's kind of ties into each other. But they don't have a crowded backfield. LaShawn McCoy, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. It's looking like Ronald Jones is going to be the starter to start Week 1. I don't know if McCoy's going to like having Fournette there because he's a sourpuss. And I don't think Fournette's going to like having to deal with, Ronald Jones and McCoy. So it's going to be – they're both whiny babies. I think Ronald Jones is a winner, so he'll do whatever it takes. But I think the other guys are just going to be a bunch of bitches.
Well, I think Fournette is fine with being there. He's just happy to have a job after getting released. I think it's Jones and McCoy that are pissed off.
He was always going to have a job.
Yeah. No.
It was either there or the Pats.
He's probably happy to be on the Buccaneers.
Yeah, racist Patriots.
Yeah. So originally, my second having a bad was Adrian Peterson, but since you flipped yours and said that it's the Jaguars that are having a bad, I'm going to say it's the Washington football team that's having a bad for releasing Adrian Peterson.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't understand that at all. And nobody can really explain it.
I don't really know what they're doing.
We might need to have Jack on, our Washington football team correspondent, to explain this to us.
I think the last thing I want to do is talk Washington football team.
I mean, yeah, but so actually, we
might be able to get a quote from him.
Not to steal another podcast's bit, but Adrian Peterson is actually having a nice.
It's not a podcast bit; it's a person bit.
Because he'll
trademarked. Probably. No, it's not trademarked.
Because I think Adrian Peterson is going to end up on a team as well. I don't think he has anything to worry about.
I hope the Eagles don't make a stupid decision and decide to go for a veteran running back to back Miles Sanders up. That's why Miles Sanders was going to get the whole thing. You could there's a whole situation there. They're having a bad always, but
you don't want Adrian Peterson because you want Miles Sanders to be the only back.
No, I genuinely think that Boston Scott's a good number 2 in like a Sproles situation. I think Boston Scott is a good guy for maybe a waiver wire pickup some days because of the amount of catches he'll get.
What's his name?
Boston Scott.
His name is Boston.
Yeah.
And he's playing in Philadelphia. That's not going to work.
It'd be like that. No, but he's a great kick returner. He's a punt returner. He's basically a Sproles. He's a good guy to have. So I prefer it to stay the way it is rather than it to change. Not because I like Miles Sanders, because I think 2 guys are really working together. So
he should change his name to Philadelphia and just go by Phil.
Since we're kind of talking Eagles, Zach Ertz could be having a bad too. Just real quick. He stormed out of the room the other day.
Welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Podcast.
Fuck you. All right, I'll change my. Are you done with your having a bad?
Sure. Yeah.
My second one, my last one. Austin Kendall, quarterback number 2. Well, QB2. Austin Kendall, a.k.a. Kendall, has officially been named Me too.
I said you gotta stop drinking so much.
I've had 2 beers.
Can't stop. You're about to throw up on your
I've
mic.
literally had 2 beers. I've had these 2 beers. That's it. I'm not even finished with one of them.
You can't speak.
I have 2 beers. I literally have 2 beers. I bought a 6-pack
Okay.
and I've had 2 beers. I swear to God.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So,
just an idiot. I'm an idiot.
sorry. Go ahead.
Kendall, how embarrassing must it be for him to leave OU thinking he had an easy job to win over at WVU, and to come here and get benched for Daggy? Kendall, in those 9 games he played last year, he had a 61% completion rate and threw 12 TDs and 10 interceptions. Let's just remember that those 9 games, some of those games were early on in the season when he wasn't playing anybody, basically. Daggy hopped in the middle of the Big 12 season, and he grabbed, in the 4 games he played, he had a 65% completion rate and threw for 7 TDs and 3 interceptions. And he hopped in with an offense that there was hundreds of offensive line problems and endless wide receiver problems, including if we counted the drop passes from Daggy, I'm sure his completion would be in the 7. Sam James can't fucking catch. But yeah, basically Daggy is OP. It was a clear skill gap whenever he came in. There was a massive skill gap between him and Austin Kendall, and people are like, "Oh, Daggy's still trash." No, Jared Daggy Doom.
Jared Daggy, owner of the Dimsdale Daggy Dome.
Yeah, facts. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, no, I was very happy to hear that news. I think we all saw that coming all along, but to actually get it, for Neil Brown to say it was very reassuring with the season coming up here in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Our first college football started this weekend. I don't think SEC starts next weekend, and we have the 12th, I think, is our first game or something like that. Right. But I think it's finally cool to have a coach that has enough confidence to come out and say, "Hey, this is our quarterback and who we're going to fucking rally behind," rather than be like, "Oh, it's a quarterback competition," and shit like that. That shit is one of the most cringy things ever. You always know who your quarterback's going to be. Come on.
Maybe. I trust Neil Brown with whatever he says, whatever he wants.
Even Alabama, they knew who their quarterback was going to be.
Tua.
And they strung Jalen's along.
It looks like I feel bad for Kendall, but it looks like on his Instagram he's having a good time fishing out of Cheat Lake. So
he's probably living a good life. So.
Don't feel bad. Yeah.
He's having a bad.
Yeah.
Theoretically, but he's probably having a good because he doesn't get to get hurt, and he was never going pro anyway. So
that is true. He gets to keep his health.
He gets to keep his health and keep his head.
Exactly.
Facts.
Clear health, clear head, can't lose.
Thursday night days.
Good enough. All right, what's your fun fact?
I do have a fun tidbit, something maybe we can say something a little bit about.
This is sort of a coronavirus update.
COVID-19 in 2020. News. Motorcycles. LSU made helmets.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. There's motorcycles outside. Fun tidbit. LSU made helmets that filter cool air and keep pathogens out.
That's cool.
Fair enough, dude. I mean, imagine the comfort they're living in, knowing no coronavirus and keeping cool in the field with the boys.
Corona,
keeping it cool with the boys. Dude, imagine like catching a TD pass and you're like sweating. You're like one hand boss game. You bring it down, and then you're just like, man, if I didn't have this helmet on. Or maybe they will never be able to see because you know how when fans blow in your face, like your eyes get all like dry and shit, and you're like this. Maybe whenever they go up for a pass, they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, I couldn't see."
Well, no, they'll get used to it and they'll get addicted to it, like when you stick your head out the window in a car.
No, it's going to be like LeBron James wearing sleeved NBA jerseys.
Yeah, there's somebody's gonna rip the fan out in the
They're
middle
going
of.
to be fuck, dude. Oh, they're going to be like in their helmet, just like Owen Schmitting it like against like the locker and shit.
Yeah, uh, I think it'll be nice that they can go up for a pass and it's like you said, Moss game, and then unlike players on other teams, they can come down and they're like, and I don't have coronavirus.
I wonder if they'll be able to smell how bad they smell.
That'll be fun. Why would they? Because their own stink is. I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta see these helmets. We should post a picture of the helmets so that everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll
I mean,
post a picture. We'll post a clip of this on the Instagram, and then we'll post a
yeah, I'm
video clip
very interested
picture,
to see these helmets.
picture of the helmets.
Right.
And we'll, because we mentioned COVID, it's going to be on. We're going to get that COVID tag on the bottom of our post. Here, take you to the CDC website.
Learn more.
Learn more at the CDC website.
We'll have the first slide should be it's like the red, like the germ that's always like on the pictures that's like scary.
It's funny. It's funny because they say learn more here, but I mean we literally live on the internet. We know everything at this point. Well, we don't know everything, but we know everything to know. You know what I'm saying?
You know enough about coronavirus, huh?
We do know.
Not enough.
Man, if I never had to see the word coronavirus again, I'd
Nope.
suck a dick if I never had to see the word coronavirus again. I'm just playing. That's a joke.
This is gonna have to be age restricted on YouTube.
Damn. Hey, it's okay.
We can't let the kids, get influenced by
Can't say the S word, and you definitely can't say the D word.
it. You put them together. All right. I think that just about wraps it up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're gonna be back next week, possibly with a little preview of some more football, some WVU football. Should I?
NFL next week.
Yeah.
Playoff update. Probably not too much of one. Just a little talk.
We're gonna keep tabs on the NBA, especially as we get to the finals.
Yeah, but it's not. Games coming up don't really matter.
But in case you forgot, because it's been a while, this is a football podcast.
This is a fucking football podcast.
And we're back, and I'm really fucking excited.
We're back.
Yes.
Our podcast died when football died.
Good. Honestly, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But we're back along with football. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys next week.